Welcome back, everybody. It is possible to get all those things that you want in life. It really is. If you
Mm.
have the right mentality, you have the right person working with you. Law of assumption. What does
Yes.
that mean? When I first hear that, initially, this is back before I knew, it almost sounded religious. I think there was the assumption of the Blessed Mary or some church. It's not. That's not what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And then you hear this thing, the law of attraction. What's the difference between that and law of assumption? We're
Yes.
going to dig into that with an assumption church. There I said it. Law of assumption coach. And this is what she does to help move the people's lives forward. Susan Carabello is here. How you
Oh,
doing today?
good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Let's start. And we went here previously, but
Yeah.
let's pick up from there.
Sure.
Law of assumption. What is that?
It's basically that whatever you did not, excuse me, whatever you dominantly believe to be true is plain and simple. Whatever you believe and continue to repeat to yourself is what will show up in your reality.
So I haven't studied that deeply, but
Mhm.
I have with law of attraction manifesting.
Mhm.
Um, Read some books, still have some to read.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated by it. I sort of try to practice it. I it hasn't fully worked for me yet,
Mhm.
but I believe in it. What's the difference between law of assumption and law of attraction?
Sure. So the law of attraction states that it's everything is energy, and you have to be a vibrational match to the things that you desire in your life. So positive attracts positive, negative attracts negative, and you need to be an energetic match to the things that you wish to call into your experience. Like the law of the law of assumption states that whatever you dominantly believe to be true is based on your own energy. So if you believe that Hondas are the best cars, you're always going to have that assumption. Like you'll drive another car and it just won't be as um it may not work well, it may be a gas guzzler, or whatever the story is, because your dominant belief about a Honda is that it is the best car, period. Whereas the law of attraction says that you need to become a vibrational match to the things that you wish to call into your experience. Positive attracts positive, negative attracts negative. And again, it's all energy. It's what you're energetically aligned with.
It sounds like law of attraction would be harder, or is it not?
I've had this thought before. I'm like, is one better than the other? And it's really comes down to preference, but I think they can be used interchangeably, to be honest. It comes down to one thing. What's your energy? What is your energy behind your intentions? Um, so the law of attraction, you can, it's a little bit harder because if you're not a vibrational match and you want to become a vibrational match, it's again about changing you. Law of assumption states the same thing, like whatever you dominantly believe to be true is. But if you want to call something into your experience, it's not about changing anything outside of you. It's about changing your beliefs about you, and the world will change as a result of the change within yourself.
So can we roll this hypothetically? Let's say
Yeah.
somebody is looking to meet their partner.
Yeah.
Been through some bad relationships, things didn't work out. Um, and they let's say they've done some work on themselves, they kind of figured themselves out. Um, they say you need to love yourself before you can love others
Exactly.
properly. So let's say you're at that point where
Yes.
you're good with yourself.
Mhm.
We beat ourselves up all the time. You
Yes.
know, let's say you're good. You're good there. So it's like, all right, it's time. When are they showing up? So let's look at that through the lens of law of assumption and then through the lens of law of attraction.
Sure. So the law of assumption, you really are changing you. You're coming into vibrational alignment with you based on your beliefs. So as we've spoken about before, you have to learn to love yourself, get rid of the habits and the stories that you have around relationships. If you believe that relationships are hard, that they're a lot of work, you're going to attract that into your life, right? Because that's your dominant belief. So if you believe that, for example, all my relationships always fail. well, then you're literally calling that into your experience. And it may not happen like a month out, but maybe 6 months out, somebody breaks up with you. And then you're like, well, what happened? Your dominant belief is that all my relationships fail. And that's what's being projected out into your experience, right? From your dominant belief. Similarly, with the law of attraction, you can call in your soulmate, a partner based on your own energy, but you have to again come into vibrational alignment with that person. So if you're not an energetic match, you have to do the work to become that energetic match for that person that you're looking to call in. So that means, again, coming back to you and starting to tell yourself a new story. Typically, what we use in the law of attraction are techniques, scripting, visualization, affirmations, right? These things help change the subconscious mind to tell you, to allow you to experience a new story with a partner that you're looking to call in. And that's the difference. Like, one is you're going to affirm, visualize to get you into that state of being where you can attract that partner. The law of assumption basically states that we're going to go in, we're going to change this belief about us, and we're going to show up every single day as that person. As uncomfortable as it is, I'm going to embody that state of being of the person who is loved, cherished, valued, right? Because that's the way I see myself. And that means that everybody else needs to see me that way as well.
So they are very similar, especially in
Mhm.
this instance.
Yes.
But it just seems that in my mind, a little bit harder where it's um, law of attraction, which sounds like manifestation,
Yes, it is.
but okay. Is law of assumption, excuse
Law of
me.
assumption is manifestation as well. It's
Thank you.
just, it's two sides of the same coin. Is that the right
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
It's preference. Like when I first started out as a coach, I was a law of attraction coach, but I saw that people were getting stuck, like just affirming, visualizing, um, scripting, right? And you're doing all this work, right? So where's your energy going? Is your energy going into calling in the soulmate that you wish to have a relationship with, or the job, or are you taking all your focus on writing out your affirmations, visualizing every day? Like you're not living, you're doing work, you're working. Whereas the law of assumption states that no, you just go and be. You're it. Like show up. Like that's just go. You have a choice. Like you have a choice to do the work, or you show up as the person who actually is already worthy, knowing that they are valued, appreciated, loved, and will call that relationship into them. They'll attract it in because they don't have to go chasing after it because that's who they are.
So when they say you have to do the work on yourself,
Mhm.
or this, I feel like a brand new man, a brand new
Yeah.
person,
Mhm.
you've morphed into what you should be.
Right.
And that's where law of assumption seems to work, where you've
Yes.
you've come you've come to that point where you're in a good place. And
Yeah.
then do you attract things? Because they always say you
Yes.
shouldn't be go
Mhm.
out there searching. Job should come to you. It should come to you.
Yes. And that's the difference is that once you become, because again, it comes down to your energy. Like what energy are you projecting out into the world? And I think that's where it's similar, law of attraction and law of assumption. It all comes down to your vibrational energy. Like, are you a match to the things that you wish to experience? Yes or no? And then it's one method using the law of attraction, and there's the other method, the law of assumption. But the idea comes down to what is your energy? Like, who are you when you wake up in the morning? Who do you choose to be? And it's all comes down to a choice. Like, so you wake up in the morning and am I going to have a good day because I decided to have a good day? Or am I going to allow the world around me to determine whether or not I have a good day? Well, it's raining out and now I'm going to be miserable and I'm going to be late to work, right? That's a choice. Or you can be like, okay, it's raining, but I'm still going to have a good day. I'm going to get to see my friends at work. I'm going to go exercise. I'm going to take my dog for a walk. Like all the things are going to happen because that's the choice that you're making. And again, it just comes down to who you're being. So that's for me. I switched into the law of assumption probably about a year and a half ago, just because of the amount of work that I was seeing people doing. They were, I have to affirm 10,000 times a day. I have to visualize before I go to bed. I have to script. I'm like, are you living your life? Like, are you, like, go out and live, go out and enjoy time with your friends and family. Like that is being what you're supposed to be, right? And that's how you call it in. You're not sitting down. And what happens is sometimes people are desperate, right? They want that thing to make them feel complete. I think we spoke about this the other day. It's if you feel like something's missing within you, you're seeking it, right? So you're going to do whatever you need to do to have that come into your experience, whether it's over affirming or scripting, visualizing. And there's nothing wrong with those techniques, but they need to be done sparingly, like a little bit. Because if you were truly that person who had whatever it is that you were seeking, you wouldn't be doing all this work to get it. You'd be it, right? And the things that come into your experience naturally when you show up as that person, right? Like when you're not thinking about it. I think they've always said, especially when you're looking for a relationship, it happens when you least expect it. And why is that? Because you're not forcing it. You're not putting all your energy behind like looking for a relationship. You're going out, you're living your life, you have a great job, you have friends, you have family, you have things to experience in life. And as a result of being that person, that other, counterpart that complements you naturally comes in based on who you are. Since one is not better than the other, it's preference. I just find that 100% of the time, the law of assumption just works 100% of the time. And the best part is that you can see on a daily basis, where is your energy? Are you focusing on yourself, or are you focusing on things that you shouldn't be focusing on? And you call it back to yourself.
Mm. And we do.
Yeah, you do.
We put, our energy into things that, and it could be we're angry at somebody. You put
Yeah,
energy into that. Relationships that don't support you, you're putting energy into that.
right.
Maybe for whatever reason, maybe fear of abandonment. You're getting something out of the relationship, and
Yeah,
you like kind of. I'm just riding this one out a little bit longer, but in the end, it's wasted energy.
right.
And I get the law of attraction. It is a lot of work if you call it manifesting.
Yeah.
Where
But recognize that we manifest naturally
yeah,
every single day. Like we like we're born creators. And then at some point we come through an awakening and we're like, oh, I can deliberately create my life. Great. Right. So we meet with the law of attraction. So I think that's probably a little bit more predominant based on the movie The Secret. There's books about it. Um, but again, when you start doing it, it's like, okay, you're going to affirm, you're going to visualize, you're going to script. And again, there's nothing wrong with the techniques, but if the
work.
techniques are the work, right?
Yeah.
You don't
And
need to work to there's a saying that I absolutely love. You can manifest a large sum of money as easily as a cup of coffee, right? Because if you're a coffee drinker, for example, or a tea drinker, hot chocolate, whatever your beverage of choice is, it's very natural for you to, step into that state of being that I'm a coffee drinker. So it's not uncommon for you to get a free cup of coffee, right? So like when I start working with my clients, I'm like, we're going to manifest a cup of coffee. And they're like, why do I have to manifest a cup of coffee? I'm like, because it's easy. There's no resistance in your system for you to call in that cup of coffee, right? Or whatever the beverage of choice is. For me, the first time I did it, I manifested like a coupon from like Dunkin' Donuts like the next day for a free cup of coffee. I was like, oh wow, look at that, And then I did like other things where there was no resistance, like finding pennies or quarters. I'm like, but trying to
sure.
find that $100 bill was a little bit harder, right? Because there was resistance. It's like, oh, I'll never find $100 bill, right? But that was my belief at the time. Like that won't happen because my belief is like, I won't find $100. So I never found $100. But if there was no resistance there, right, which is the belief, that money can come in as easily again as the cup of coffee.
Mm, as does parking spaces, as I do all the
Yeah.
time. I manifest a parking space and I 95% of the time get a excellent parking space, right where I need it to be.
Yep.
And these are the things that you can test, like the coffee, like the
Yeah,
parking space. You're going
exactly.
somewhere, like I'll be going to the gym. Ah, wait, yeah, I have to make sure I get a good space because it's going to be crowded and I just want to bounce in, bounce out.
Right.
And then it's almost like I play where there's two ways you can go in. I can turn this way, I can turn that way.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, then I manifested it and I'm like, all right, which way is it? Which way should I go? And then I'll jump
And
like go
that's the intuition
that. Yeah,
speaking
that's the
to you.
intuition. Yeah.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
got to trust that intuitive voice. And even when you're practicing the law of assumption, you have to trust your intuition. And that's something for me that I'm still learning to do. I'm doing it a little bit more regularly. And in doing that, that was the biggest lesson in this awakening process to, again, even becoming a coach, like I had to trust and step into that intuition that this is where I was meant to be in this lifetime, right? I'm meant to be doing this. And as uncomfortable as it is sometimes, I know this is my mission to show people that they can deliberately create, that they can create like the job of their dreams, the relationship of their dreams, have that abundance, but you have to let go of the stories. And even if you're looking at it from a law of attraction standpoint, there's a story blocking you from not being in vibrational alignment. And we want to get rid of that story that's keeping you. So whether you use one or the other, again, it's totally preference, but I teach more about embodiment. Like, let's look at the stories that you have, right? And the stories are not, there's no judgment on the stories. Like we all have them.
Hmm.
It's just saying now it's time to put that story down, put it back on the bookshelf, and pick up a story that actually serves you. And then you decide in that moment as to what you'd like to experience in your life. And you have to trust that inner voice, that intuition that, yeah, like what I'm meant to experience is for me, that these things that I wish to experience are coming from me, and that all I have to do is just embody that state of being and allow those things to come into my experience.
For the law of attraction, I feel like a lot of us wonder if we're doing it right. Like you said, you have to have vision boards and this and believe it's already here. And
And vision boards are a great tool. I have my vision board. I actually recently just went on a cruise. I took my kids on a cruise. I did my vision board back in January, and that was on there. And I did it specifically because I wanted to manifest the money to be able to go on the trip. I
wow.
I manifested the money and we went on the trip. So it all kind of played out. But our minds and our brains work in visuals, right? So that's you want to experience that in here before you can have it out there, right? You need the visual of what it's going to look like so you can feel that experience. But with the law of assumption, the way it works is that, okay, I see the visual here. Yeah, I want to experience it. I'm going to walk in the world that, like, yeah, I'm going on that trip, right? Yeah, I'm going to take my kids. How's it going to feel? Breathe in, breathe out. Let's call that experience in. But we're going to walk in that experience every single day. And then eventually, it's like, boom, here you are, you're going on the trip. But it's like that with a job too.
Isn't that like, but that is manifesting where
That
you're
is.
believing it's here
Yep.
and what it's going to feel like. I want
Yeah.
that sports car.
Yes.
What's it feel like? I'm driving in it, smell the
The
new
leather.
leather.
Yeah.
I'm listening to music. I got T-tops down the roof, whatever. People, hey, I just waved to somebody. That you're in it, you're feeling it.
Yeah.
So does that apply to both law of assumption and law of attraction?
Yes. They're both manifestation.
Okay.
It literally comes, one was founded a little earlier than the other. But it really comes down to, preference. But at the end of the day, it comes down to one thing, your energy. Like you can use the law of assumption or the law of attraction, but it comes down to your energy. Is your energy good? Is it positive? Is it negative? Right. But we don't want to go into that, positive or negative, right? That's not, it's not good or bad. But like the more you focus on the positive stuff, the more positive things come into your experience, the more gratitude you have. The more you focus on the negative, the more you complain, the more you attract that into your experience.
So question on all of
Yes.
this.
Hmm.
I've heard that if you're manifesting, as
Yes.
soon as you put up a negative, you just completely derailed it.
No.
So, like for example, perfect person. I'm doing all the right things. I'm thinking, I even have a vision board of what this person should look like. I don't know.
Yeah.
When are they going to show up? Now you come from a place of lack, negative. When
Yeah.
are they going to show up?
Yeah.
Um, and that I've been told that just derails the whole process.
It never derails the work that you've done.
Okay,
It never derails the work that you've done because it comes down again to the one factor is that you're changing who you are, right? So you're not changing anybody or anything out in your 3D. You're changing who you are and how you see yourself. So you're coming into vibrational alignment. But you don't want to pop a tent and stay there in that, in that lack mindset. You don't want to
sure.
stay there because the more that you stay there, the more you're calling in things you know, to wipe it away and
Yeah.
but you can never stop the momentum. It's always working in your favor. Everything's
Okay.
always working in your favor. We just have to recognize that, okay, there's still something in me that believes that I don't have this already. Now, your desires come from your soul. So it's already implanted there, right? God, the universe, source, whatever you believe in, has already put that imprint on your soul. So it's done. It's done. Now it's just your job to call it in, but you have to let go of the doubt.
Mm.
And I've recently trying to think who it was, and I will find out the name of the author. They basically said that you're always trusting in something. You're always trusting in something. You're either trusting the doubt or you're having faith in your reality. So pick a side, right?
Mm.
You're making a choice. If you're going to feed the doubt, then great, that's a choice that you're making. Or you can feed the faith that this is meant for you. You're meant to experience, and that is already done. Like that's the thing. Like you have to know. It comes back to that knowing in here that what you desire to experience in this lifetime is already done.
I I feel for myself doing the work and such
Hmm.
that the things that I want in life, they're coming. I
Yeah.
don't, and I know it's maybe cheesy to some. I don't have a doubt. Like
Well,
it's,
that's the knowing, and that's a good thing. Like because then you're open and receptive to whatever it is that you're seeking to just come in.
no,
Like it,
and I'm gonna be,
yeah,
honest here. Yeah, okay. Sometimes it's like, all right, or stop that.
yeah,
Um, but I don't have a doubt that it's just a matter of time. But then, final question, because we're almost out of time.
yeah.
We want things in our lives. We think we want things in our lives, but
Hmm.
it's also been said that the universe is going to bring you what you should get. So how do you know it's what it's going to happen? It's going to come to you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, it's letting go of any resistance within yourself and calling in that experience, number one. And number two, it's going back to trusting what your soul's telling you. But if you know, you know, like there's no doubt. Like,
Agreed.
and that's literally what it comes down to. Can you trust that inner knowing and trust what your soul is telling you, or are you going to trust what Johnny told you or what Jenny told you, right? Their opinions are more important than yours. Like, you shouldn't take that job, you shouldn't go out with that person, whatever, right? That's their opinions. But if you trust, within you, like that this is meant for you, then you're not listening to anybody else but
Right.
yourself.
Right. And it's an interesting feeling. I've never had it before, except in the last
Yeah.
couple of years, where it's those things, and there's, maybe a handful of things.
Yeah.
Um, that I desire, I feel I deserve, um, or I feel I can help others with, and
Yeah.
that's most of it.
Mhm.
That's your purpose, that's your gift. It's like it's happening. Just question
Right.
of when and how. But you're not even supposed to worry about the how. I don't know. We're
No,
just
well, and that's it. Like, so it's funny that you say that because I had a dream last night about this kind of stuff, right? Because I'm very passionate about it, but I want to explain it in a way that can be understood by everybody. So imagine that you have a plate of food in front of you,
Mhm.
right? And the plate of food is actually like the how, the when, the why, and it's done. Now you have choices, right? So you have choice to focus on how. You have a choice. And this is our logical mind wanting to know the how, the when, and the why. Or you can just focus on the end goal,
Yes.
right? Whatever the goal is. So ignore the how and the when and the why on the plate. And they're there. You don't need to give them any attention. You don't need to feed them. They can stay there. You need to focus on that it's already done. So if you were already in that relationship or at that job or driving that sports car, what would you be doing? You'd be out living your life, enjoying time with friends and family.
Yep.
You'd be taking care of yourself. You'd be taking care of your health, your home,
Right.
your pets, all of it, right? So we literally have to stop focusing on the how, the when, and the why, because again, everything could change like that, and you could have it all tomorrow.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
when you focus on those things, for me, it's a little piece of negativity because when you start thinking, well, how is that going to happen?
Right,
Right
well,
now,
that's the doubt.
that's a doubt. Thank you. That's the word.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
doubt
that's the
just
best
creeps
word.
in, and the doubt's there, right? Because it's something that's different, right? This is not something that I'm used to. Like, this is not what we do. Like, especially if you're manifesting a relationship, right? Our logical mind's like, okay, well, I have to sign up for the dating sites. I have to go to a meetup group or a single meetup group or go on a cruise with singles. Like, it's all these different things that your logical mind tells you need to do, or you can just go out and live your life and allow the universe to make that shift for you and be like, okay, all of a sudden you're in the grocery store and you meet somebody. It's like, oh wow, wait, this isn't how I envisioned this,
Right.
But there it is, and all of a sudden it's like you have this great relationship with somebody that you just met at the grocery store.
And it'll feel right at that moment where a lot of times on
Exactly.
dating sites, my friends and I would say the same thing. It's not like it was like 2 or 3 years ago. It's very different now.
Okay.
And it's also, um, a lot of times you already know before you go on a date. It's like, not to be negative.
Yeah.
It's just like,
Who knows what?
I'll just do it anyway. No, you'll know when you meet somebody,
Yeah,
like you said.
you'll just know. And there's nothing wrong with dating sites
Sure.
or meetup groups. I just take a different view on it just because I want people to go out and live their lives. And if the dating sites and meetup groups are getting them out and getting out and experiencing life, then yes,
Sure.
then
Yeah.
do that. Absolutely.
Don't
But
dwell on it. Don't
don't
dwell on
dwell
it.
on it. That's the word. Like
Yeah.
don't make it like every Friday night I have to go out and do this and this and this and this, right? Because then
Right.
it becomes a program.
Yeah.
You want to experience life. So yeah, absolutely. Do whatever. It comes down to one thing. Do whatever feels natural for you.
Yep.
Period.
Yep. Talk forever. This is like so
Yes.
cool. And because there's endless possibilities,
Right.
the world is yours.
Yeah.
Somebody wants to dig deeper into the law of assumption. How do they do that?
They can visit me on my website at www.suecarabello.com.
Carabello, right?
Yes.
Cool. Great talking with you.
Yes.
And glad you went on the cruise. It happened. And that's just one of many stories.
Yes.
Um, I haven't done the vision board. I was traveling recently, had some time, and I started downloading pictures of, yeah, I want that, yeah, that. And I have it on my phone, but I think it's different if you just put it up on the wall and you're just happen to stare at it every once in a while.
Well, and that's it because it's kind of like subliminals, right?
Yes.
It's there. You see it a little bit, and then slowly it comes into your experience, right?
Yeah.
You're not like hyper focused on the vision board, like, oh my God, I have to focus on this. No, it's there.
And if it's on your phone, you intentionally have to go in and start looking,
Exactly.
you know, find
Swiping.
the folder it's in and all of that. So,
Yeah.
learned a lot today. Gotta tell you, learned a lot. Very cool.
Cool. All
Appreciate it. All right, Susan, we'll catch up soon. Okay.
right. Thanks.
Thanks. Thank you. We'll be right back.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.